Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special guest with me, Ridham Jain, who is currently a third year undergraduate and has cracked Google Internship Interview. In this podcast, I have had a insightful talk over his complete interview process, resume, and some tips that can help you to target big product based companies. So let's get to the podcast. Yeah, hello Ridham. Thank you for being here. I am very thankful to you that you accept my invitation for the podcast. So I would like to know about your complete process for Google internship. So can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, sure. So hi Priyanshu and hi everyone. Myself Ridham Jain. I'm currently a software engineering student at Delhi Technological University and currently a software engineering intern at Google. Pretty excited to be here and looking forward to a good conversation. Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to know about your coding journey. What does time it take to reach you at the level when you have the offer from Google?
Okay. So like my coding journey probably started in second year. Um, First year I was getting to know how college works and what all you can do here and different co-curricular activities. In second year, when lockdown struck, I started to explore computer science fields and then I got into coding. So yeah, I started with web development, then moved on to data structures and algorithms, and yeah, it's going on. I think the journey never stops. So yeah, it's just going, and yeah, there's no level to reach. I think, like you said, to reach a level, but um, it's a continuous process, and if you can just put in the efforts, I think results come.
So before starting, like it is very important to be consistent in coding. So how do you maintain your consistency
Yeah.
and how you did all those things?
Yeah, very rightly, consistency is the key. I think when you are particularly preparing for some interviews or some internship or placements, you have to be dedicated and you have to be consistent. You can make your own schedule basically. There's no particular way to follow, but it's up to you. You have to best utilize your time and make a schedule for yourself. Try to stick to it. You can have off days maybe, but when you're working, you should be focused. When you're studying, when you are coding, when you are solving some problem, you should be focused and you should work rigorously towards it. And yeah, I think that should be good.
And how were you able to manage your college and academics? And I think your batch was of COVID batch, so you might have got a little bit
Yeah,
more time at home. So how were you managing all those times and all?
yeah. I think I got a bit lucky that our not lucky in the sense, but yeah, college was online, so a lot of time was saved in travel. Like I didn't have to travel a lot. Didn't have to go to college daily, so I could just attend my classes in the morning and later on work on the stuff that I wanted to. So I got a lot of time there, and it was again properly utilizing that time. So yeah, I was able to focus on college studies while the classes were on, and in online you didn't really have to focus that much because you were able to catch up with things later on. You had a lot of time there, and later on for the rest of the day you could work on things that you want to, be it development, be it coding, be it any other skill. And yeah.
And how were your peers in college? Like you found it very competitive in college, or like you were at the top quarter in your college?
Not really sure about it because in the online mode we didn't really get to know everyone and how everyone's doing around the college. But and not necessarily a level was there that someone is a good coder or someone is a bad one. But I think everyone was just figuring out things. It was a tough time as well, COVID. So yeah, everyone was figuring out things and learning different stuff. I had a really good, I have a really bunch of friends who are focusing on different stuff. Some are doing development, some are into blockchain, some are into competitive. And so yeah, it was good to have interactions with them, good to have communications with them. And yeah, it was overall a good uh, experience for me as well to learn from them. And when you have a good bunch of friends, it motivates you to do something.
So my next question is, what resources did you follow for your coding and interview preparation?
Okay. I think these are some standard resources only, but everyone must know. Geek for Geeks is a
Yeah.
great platform to study any topic basically. You could read through their tutorials, and they're pretty good. Apart from it, for coding, I think LeetCode is one of the best platforms out there. The kind of problems they that we get there, and the kind of test cases that we have to cross, those are pretty good. Plus, the structuring of the for the later stages when one just has to give an interview and it's approaching like there's a month to go or 2 months to go, then one could focus on interview bit, which focuses on particular interview specific questions that are asked by various companies. Apart from it, I guess YouTube is a good resource to learn. There's a lot of free content available that you could go through and learn basically everything out there.
Okay. So now coming to your interview process and all, can you please explain about the interview process? How many rounds were there? What type of questions were asked? And a complete overview of your interview.
Yeah, sure. Mine was a on-campus interview. So firstly, we had a online assessment round where we had 2 questions. I was able to solve one and a half of them, and they were medium to hard level questions. After that, we had 2 rounds of interviews, 2 back-to-back rounds of interviews, where the particular focus was on again data structures and algorithms, and problem solving. How you think about a problem, how you approach it, that is important. So I had 2 rounds, 2 back-to-back rounds, and luckily I was able to do well in them. And yeah, then we got to know the results.
Okay. So can you please explain some academic topics that were asked in the interview that anybody who is targeting for such big company should not miss those topics?
Okay, so if I talk about Google, it doesn't really focus on that much computer science fundamentals. It is more focused towards data structures and algorithms and how you approach a problem, how you build a solution. But a lot of companies out there focus on other topics as well related to computer science, be it object-oriented programming, operating systems, DBMS, database management systems, and certain companies focus on computer networks and system designs as well. So these are 3-4 topics that one must understand and one must know the basics of. A lot of us study these in our curriculums as well. So if you can just go through them while it is going on in college, that's good. And apart from it, also it takes around a week or so if you can go through the topics once. So these are important topics which even help in online rounds that happen. There are MCQs that are asked through these questions, through these topics, and again in interviews it can be asked some basics of these, and that should be known to a particular person because computer science fundamentals are really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the rate of 10, can you just rate that what was the difficulty level of the interview?
It's difficult to understand because I haven't given that many interviews. But if I can rate on the particular problems that I solved, it was 8 or 9 on 10 because the problems were tough, but they were solvable. So if you know the basics well, I think one should be able to do it.
Okay. So now your academic like CGPA, does that matter for these companies? And what was your CGPA? Any cutoffs for Google interview was there?
Uh, I think one should look to maintain a good CGPA, be it 8.5 or something and above. It should be good enough. 8 is also good enough. But considering a lot of us have had online semesters, a lot of the results have shifted. So 8.5 and 9 should be good. I had a good CGPA. I had a 9.5 above CGPA. So that was good for me. But companies do not necessarily focus on your CGPAs. But a good CGPA of course helps. It could help you in shortlisting. It could help you in online assessments if some criterias are there. But see, if there are 200 people giving a round, and if 150 of them are able to solve it, the company won't be able to interview 150 of those. So there has to be some shortlisting criteria, be it fastest time to solve, be it your CGPA, be it your resumes. So it's good to have a certain benchmark, a certain CGPA level that could help you going further in certain rounds.
Okay. So what was the CGPA cutoff for Google?
I think it was 8.5 only, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So my next question is resume for a fresher should look like, what it should consist of, like CP, project, development. Can you give an idea of what a resume should look like?
I think a good resume should be a one-page one, not expanding into 2-3 pages, because you don't have to write your stories there. And it should include a lot of sections such as your work experience, your projects that you have worked on, any particular achievements that you have, be it in some coding contests, some hackathons, some other co-curricular activities that you have been part of. You should look to include your PORs, which is basically position of responsibilities. So if you have had any positions in some societies, if you had any management roles, any lead roles where you looked upon some leadership qualities, then that helps. Apart from it, you should look to convey your story there, because resume is just a piece of paper where you in just one page look to convey your story to someone. So you should look to build that story in your first and second years. Try to build on skills. Try to get some experience. Do some internships with some startups or something where you can get some experience, some work on projects. Projects help in showcasing your skills, and a lot of projects usually help in interviews as well, where you can discuss about those projects. You can showcase your skills to the recruiter. So these are particular topics that one should focus on.
Okay, so what was your experience with competitive programming and how much it is important to crack big companies like Google, Microsoft?
I have a different philosophy. I haven't done much of competitive programming, and I don't really think that it is necessary. But if one likes it, one should focus on it. Because I believe competitive programming is like a sport. So if you like it, then you should go into it and you should play it. But if you don't like it, just give it a try. Anyone who's looking to prepare for some interviews should definitely just for once try CP, because it helps you in a lot of things. You get to know how to approach a problem, how to build solutions in a certain given time frame, because that time pressure usually helps you when you're giving those online rounds, online coding rounds of various companies, wherein just 1 hour or 45 minutes you have to solve 2 to 3 to 4 questions. So that helps. So if one likes it, then one should definitely focus on it, because good rankings and good contest ratings could help you in resumes as well. Certain companies do focus on it, but not many of them do. So you can focus on it. Apart from it, if it doesn't excite you as a sport, one should not look at the rankings, but look on to build solutions to different problems, look to solve problems, look to improve their thinking abilities, and that would definitely help them in different coding interviews and coding rounds.
So many students face a problem in building some logic before when they start to code. So what will you suggest to build a logic? Is there any steps they should follow to start building logic? They can solve any problem.
I don't think there's a particular method to follow or particular way to go, but it comes with practice. You need to understand the basics of data structures and algorithms. And then when you approach a problem, you should have those tools in handy. See, data structures and algorithms are basically tools that you use to solve a problem. So if you understand a problem, then you need to browse through those tools and look to solve that problem through those tools. And that comes with understanding of those tools. So if you understand data structures and algorithms, you should be able to solve problems. And you won't be able to solve problems in one go, because that necessarily won't happen. and that doesn't happen to everyone. So the key here is practice and consistency. So if you can just keep on going, practicing, look at other people's solutions, how they approach a problem, learn from them, build a solution by going through the brute force method to the optimized one. And with practice, you'll get to know that you are able to solve problems and you are able to get out that information from the question and build on that logic.
So can you list the topic of data structure and algorithm that were asked in your coding round for Google?
For me, my coding round that happened included questions around DP and tries. And in my interview, I was asked about strings, DP, certain problem solving techniques, and graphs, a little bit of graphs. But that wasn't much. There were just 2 problems asked in the first round, and one was a follow-up of the first one. And the second round was a bit tough one, which had just one problem around strings and DP. And I wasn't able to solve it to the maximum of it, but I was able to get to the best solution. And the recruiters are really good. The interviewers are really good. They guide you, they assist you while in an interview if you're stuck. And so yeah, it was a good experience for me.
Okay. So before ending the podcast, would you like to give any tip to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm not good enough to give some tips to anyone, but if I can say something, you should look to be consistent. You should be dedicated. You should not set particular goals. So to say, if you are targeting a company, don't set such targets. Just prepare. Just prepare as well as you can, and just go with the flow. And also, don't focus on quantity. Don't focus on the number of questions that you have solved. Focus on the quality of questions that you're solving and how much you are gaining from it. That is the most important thing. And yeah, that should be enough. Consistency is the key, and just be confident in your abilities.
Okay. And thank you for insightful talk.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priyanshu.